Welcome to What's Up, Bolts? I'm Fernando Ramirez, that cowboy hat wearing, sunglass on, and son of a gun is Dan and Daygo. He is back. I know you guys were like, where was Dan during COMPAS on the beat? Well, we had to give him a little bit of a timeout. He is back now.
Yeah, timeout. Timeout is what. Tell him the truth. That stooge, that scumbag, Hilberto is trying to phase out good old Dan and Daygo, and I have no idea why. It's unbelievable what that stooge is up to. But I know he's over there. He's over there plotting. He's like over here, deep, bing, 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 pong. He thinks it's gonna happen. It's not. It's not gonna happen.
So obviously we're here because the Chargers have released their schedule this week. And hold on, there's something going on right now. I think we have a special surprise for Dan and Daygo.
Oh God!
Let's go!
Let's go, Sir Jeffrey. Let's go. I'm so sorry to all the audio listeners, but you have no idea my excitement right now. I'm just going to sit here and watch the magic now. This is absolutely legendary. It's so good to see you, dude. How you doing?
I am doing phenomenal. How are you guys doing?
I'm better now. Now that I get to see the legend himself, dude, I'm fired up.
So all week I had been teasing Jeff. There's a surprise. We have a surprise for there's a surprise that's gonna happen on What's Up, Bolts. I didn't tell Dan and Daygo. I didn't say anything. I'm like, here you go, Daniel. There's your surprise. It is Jeff Miller jumping on with us to break down the Chargers schedule. Jeff, how are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. I'm doing much better now that I've actually tapped in with you guys. This is too good, man. The hat, the glasses, it's all happening right now.
What are you talking about? You got the fresh cut over here. You look like $1 million, dude. Yeah, I see it.
I got it trimmed up good over here, baby.
That's right.
Jeff's ready for rookie minicamp. That's all I can say. So, Jeff, obviously, the schedule jumps out. The Chargers decide to go with anime again. They decide to
last year.
Yeah, they did the exact same thing last year. We'll go through it right now, just because Dan hasn't seen it, Jeff, and I want to give you the glory that is Dan watching it for the first time. Like you can go through step by step and kind of see what I get to go through every single time that this happens. But Jeff, 6 prime time games for the Chargers, the most in the Kansas City, the Dallas Cowboys. We expected that one. The Buffalo Bills and the Chargers, the 4 highest prime time games. What did you make of that?
Justin Herbert is what I make of that. That's they owe that to number 10 right there. That's the reason why the Chargers are as relevant as they are, and that's why they're going to be on TV and this season and the seasons to come. It's all based on one player. I think it's him, and and what he's done in these primetime games. We've seen it. So if I was putting together a TV schedule, I'd want these guys on my schedule too.
Yeah, no, and you know what's funny is somebody asked me, why do they keep putting the Chargers on primetime? I'm like, look, Justin Herbert, 1, but 2, we have to admit the Chargers are one of the most entertaining teams in the NFL, no matter what. You just never know what's gonna happen, and you're kind of want to.
I don't like those. We don't know. I don't like those.
You kind of get to see something unravel, whether it's the Chargers blowing out a team that nobody thought that they could beat, or if it's something, just something's gonna happen in one of these games, and that's why I feel like the NFL also wants to put them in these primetime games.
Well, Chargers, they played a primetime game in January. What happened in that game? And we all thought that game was going one way, then we all went the other direction. I hate to bring that up, but you're right, Fernando. I mean, these guys play entertaining games. They play close games, entertaining games, and the crazy stuff does tend to happen. So yeah, it's very understandable that as long as they're pretty good, and as long as they've got a quarterback like Justin Herbert, why would you not want them on your TV screen? They are entertaining for good.
Yeah,
and
no,
bad.
100%.
Don't hold back, no worries, Sir Jeffrey. Pull the dagger just out of my chest real quick, reminding me about that though. Good God.
Yeah, I'm sure you haven't heard much about that since that game, and it won't come up much at all.
Yeah. That's why I stay away. Well, actually, there's no more blue checkmark brigades on the Twitter, but I stay away from all the networks and all that stuff because that's all I hear all off season. So it is what it is at this point, dude. If I haven't become an alcoholic now supporting for this team, I never will. It is what it is.
So here's the first look at the Chargers schedule. You see they start off against the Miami Dolphins. Jeff, it's interesting matchup to start it off right away. Tua versus Herbert. The Chargers starting off at home, not the Los Angeles Rams. That also to me was pretty interesting to note as well. But right off the bat, you get the Miami Dolphins. What do you think about that matchup?
Yeah, that'll be again, the Dolphins are sort of Charger-like, right? They're entertaining too, and we know what they've got, that that track team they put together. So that figures to be a very entertaining game. Sitting here right now, I mean, months out. Hopefully, everybody gets to the starting line healthy and can play in that game, and
especially
that could be that could be first one to 45 wins kind of game.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then you got the two games kind of in the middle, the two a little bit of outliers. I mean, the Tennessee Titans at Tennessee and at Minnesota. Obviously, Tennessee, we don't even know who's going to be starting at quarterback. I mean, could Will Levis beat out Ryan Tannehill? Is it going to be Ryan Tannehill? As of right now, Derrick Henry is the running back of the Tennessee Titans. We saw kind of the Chargers kind of struggle to contain him last year. I know he gained only 100 yards. I mean, only 100 because Derrick Henry could easily gain 200. But, Jeff, I think early on, these first 4 weeks are going to be a good test of the Chargers' run defense, especially because they haven't been good in the last 2 years. I mean, they were good at the back end of the stretch last year, but they haven't been good. And I feel like these first four games are going to be a big test for them right away.
Yeah, that run defense, we know they got to get better at that, right? And they, they've kind of tweaked things a little bit here, but we'll see if they can figure it out. And it's going to be, I think that's going to go a long way this season to determining how this team does. And like you said, Fernando, we're going to find out pretty quick here, especially, that week 2. And I don't think Derrick Henry's going anywhere. I think he's going to be at SoFi State, or, he's going to be in that game playing for Tennessee, and the Chargers are going to have to stop him somehow because, that's what those guys, no matter who their quarterback is, that's what they're going to try to do.
Yeah. Dan, ask Jeff about week 6 through 9, 3 out of 4 primetime games against some tough opponents.
Yeah, I was about to say, Jeff, then they go to, they have the Cowboys coming in, which going to be tough. Then they go to Hilberto's beloved Kansas City Chiefs. He loves talking about the Chiefs. I don't know if you know that. He's a big Pat Mahomes guy. He loves being in red. You already know how it is. He's a big fan. That's all I hear about it all the time. Then they have they have Chicago back home, and then the Jets. I think it's a tough 8-week opening, honestly. Like maybe Chicago can, give you a little something. Maybe Tennessee with no quarterback, but I think it's going to be a very tough opening for and then you low-key have the bye a little bit early. That's going to be interesting for sure, though. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, they're going to, I'm sure they're not thrilled about having the bye that early. There's no middle Tennessee states in the NFL, right? They're all tough games. So, the thing about this schedule, there's that stretch there. There's the Thursday night game late where they play 3 times. They have that thing where you play 3 times in a compacted area because of that Thursday night. So, those are tough stretches, but it's not. Nothing struck me on here as being like, wow, this is a gauntlet. Now they're really going to have to, these are 5 games in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I got you.
I think other than the break, the bye early, and the late Thursday night game, the schedule's I thought pretty balanced, and it seems pretty fair for these guys. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, that's kind of the way I'm looking at it.
I mean, to me, the gauntlet's at the end, Jeff. I mean, at Patriots, then you get the Broncos, at Raiders on Thursday night, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, the only saving grace that you play the 2 toughest teams, which are Buffalo and Kansas City at home. But it's funny because for my article, I know you did one too for the LA Times. Make sure you guys go check that out. And we appreciate Jeff Miller from the LA Times joining us. I wrote for I'm like, in a perfect world, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers are battling on January 6th or January 7th at night on Sunday Night Football for the division. I'm like, in reality, Kansas City will probably rest all their players while the Chargers are battling to try and get in to the playoffs with that final game. But I thought the back end is kind of the toughest part of it, just because you face Baltimore, you face the Patriots, the Broncos twice, Buffalo, the Raiders. I mean, I don't know what the Broncos and the Raiders are going to be, just because Sean Payton's the coach of Denver. I feel like they're going to be tough. But by that point, the Broncos could have already have thrown it in, kind of mailed it in, and said, you know what, Russ is in our quarterback. We want to get rid of him. We're going to do something else. So I think it's just a toss-up. But having Buffalo and Kansas City at the end of the season, that to me is kind of the rough part.
Well, the one thing I'll say is my least favorite thing about this schedule was that Kansas City game at the end. That's the worst possible place for that game, because the chances of that game being meaningful for both teams are not very good, right? That's like that game needed to be. Remember last year when they played on that Thursday night in December? That was like, it had everything was on the line. The Chargers could have been in first place and all that. So that, actually, I guess that was 2 years ago they did that. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
It's late for me.
No, don't worry. They all blend in for me also. I have no idea.
But that last game, that last Chiefs game is, like you said, Fernando, I don't know, that it very well may have no meaning for it could have no meaning for either team. It could mean something for one and not the other. I'm not thrilled at that game, because every time those two teams play, it's been a good game. The one time it wasn't was when the Chiefs sat all their guys at the end of the season. Same kind of situation. They didn't have to play, and the Chargers won that game easily. That's the only time that hasn't been a good game of late. So that one I'm disappointed in. And I'll tell you what, you talk about the Broncos. I mean, weren't the Broncos out of it last year and mailing it in?
Around that time.
You're right.
Last season, that game. So
yeah,
the Broncos, ever since I've covered the Chargers, they have a hard time with the Broncos, especially there. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And so playing them twice in December is probably not good either. But you look at them and think, well, they probably won't be that good, but it's never an easy game. And then then the other two are Vegas and the Bills. So yeah, there's nothing, it's the NFL. So you're going to have these games. The one, that Bills game, December 23rd, that figures to be a pretty huge game, probably for both teams. So that, if you're looking at what right now sitting here, what game at the end could be like the biggest game, I'm looking at that one thinking that might be, that might be the head game that has the most implications for both teams, playoffs, division, conference, all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Jeff, have you ever been to Green Bay?
I have not. So this will be a first for me. That's I've never been there. So that's the one.
You better hope it doesn't snow, dude. You're going in November 19th.
Yeah, that's it. Kind of, it could be 60 degrees. It could be 6 degrees. We don't know, but I've never been there, so it'll be a new experience for me.
Jeff, from now until then, we're gonna do some training with you in the media room. I'm gonna keep it cold as a meat locker, and I'm gonna get you trained for that. And then you're going to New England in December. I got to get you ready for these, Jeff. If not, you're gonna freeze on me.
Yeah, we better get started real quick on that. It's gonna take me a while to get used to that. We better start here soon.
Did you do? Go ahead.
Oh no. I was just gonna say real quick when we were talking about Denver. This is like my reasoning why I think in my mind, the only games that should be split are going to be with the Broncos and with the Chiefs, obviously. Like, I don't think they should lose to the Raiders at all, but that's just me. When it comes to the Broncos, this is my thinking of why I think, mind you, I don't think they're going to be contending for an AFC title, but I think they're going to be a lot better than last year because in my mind, there's a few factors that are going into this. Number one, you have Sean Payton, Super Bowl winning head coach, knows what it takes to be successful and everything else. And you've seen already, no disrespect to anybody, but Brandon Staley hasn't had the greatest record against Super Bowl winning head coaches. So that's already one thing that I think is a little bit working against the Chargers. The other thing is also, I think Sean Payton elongated Drew Brees' career when his arm was already starting to fade and everything else. Like, I think he knows how to get the best out of people. I think he knows how to, put the right combinations and things to make linebackers or DBs or whoever to, get their eyes all crossed and they can't see anybody and people come open. So I think he has that experience. I think he has that pedigree to, I'm not going to say he's going to win the dang MVP or anything like that, but I think to see a different or a better Russ this season, in my humble opinion. I think they're going to lose the one in at Denver. Like you said, they always suck when they go there. So I think I don't think it's going to be a good game at Mile High.
That is some quality analysis right there. That's top notch. I agree completely with it, and I think that's a lot of people when Sean Payton went there said that about, this is, if anybody can fix Russell Wilson, it's him, and I think you're probably right. And yeah, he's one of those coaches. He walks in the building and the team's immediately better.
Yeah. So I think the point I was trying to make was how the Chargers have struggled with the Broncos all the time, no matter who the coach, no matter who the quarterback.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, you remember Drew Lock? You remember Drew Lock dancing, dude?
Oh my God. So yeah, so I with Sean Payton there now, yeah, the Broncos are going to be a considerable foe, and playing them twice as we look at the schedule here, playing them twice in December, twice in basically 21 days. If my math is right there, that you look at that and think, oh, it's the Broncos. Who cares? They haven't done much lately, but I mean, with this team and against that team, It's always been in trouble. And then in between there, you've got a trip to the Raiders, and then you play the Broncos or the Bills at home. So, now that I'm saying this out loud, I guess maybe there is kind of a gauntlet at the end of the season. You're right, Fernando. That does look pretty tough, but I'm still going to stick with the fact that Chiefs game at the end is just disappointing for me, because I was hoping to see that a few weeks earlier.
Oh no, so I think all of us. I mean, and the thing is, those games have come down, Jeff, to the end of the game. I mean, people can say whatever they want about the Chargers, but they do play the Chiefs tough. They're right there with them at the end of the game, and it's like even the Chargers scored like with a minute left in most of these games, and at the end, the Chiefs are able to just move the ball up the field quickly, efficiently, that they get the game-winning touchdown or the game-winning. Like that's what happened last year, 2 years ago at SoFi. Derwin James didn't play in the second half of the game. Yeah. Then the Chiefs drive at the end of the game. Travis Kelce catches 2 huge touchdown passes, one to win the game in overtime. And then this year, the same thing too in LA was they moved the Chargers scored with like a minute and 10 left. All of us looked at each other and we said, that's too much time for Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes moves it up. They score with 15 seconds left, and that was it. But I mean, the Chargers literally they really take it to Kansas City almost every single time that they play them.
Yeah, you already know. Oh, my bad.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, just real quick. You already know what almost only counts in for Al: horseshoes and hand grenades. That doesn't mean diddly squat to anybody else, dude. I don't need any of these participation awards. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of Gilberto's Chiefs. I'm tired of it.
What's amazing, guys, right? 6 primetime games, and there's a chance that neither of the Chiefs games will be in primetime, which I would have.
Yeah.
If before the schedule came out, I would have bet my life that one of those games is going to be in primetime. There's a chance that neither of them are going to be, depending on that last game means anything or not.
It's crazy too, Jeff. They could even have more than that. I mean, if maybe the Patriots and the Chargers by that point in December 3rd are kind of locked in horn to horn. Maybe they elevate that game to Sunday Night Football or something. Like, you just never know. Like, any of those games, they could elevate them to prime time. Well, I mean, I guess at the end they have 3 primetime games at the end. So I guess, but I mean, you just never know. They could eventually move them up or move them out of it. You just don't know. But like we said, they're entertaining. They'll probably be in it. But Jeff, this year is going to be about starting. You have to start off early. You can't just struggle at the beginning like they have in recent memory. I mean, I know what the 2 years under Staley, they've started off well. In the middle, they just go through some funk that they just can't get out of, and at the end, they try and pull it out at the end. And last year they were able to do it. The year before they weren't able to do it. But it's always that middle with Staley where they kind of not because of Staley or because Staley's the head coach, but it just seems like they go through that funk right in the Dallas Cowboys through the Baltimore Ravens. They go through a weird funk where they beat the teams that they're not supposed to beat, and then they lose to the teams that they're supposed to beat. So it's just a weird thing with them.
Yeah, I think last year a lot of that probably was injuries, right? That's when a lot of those guys were hurt. So we could sit here and talk for hours about injuries, but that's the same with every team that these guys, like everybody, they have to stay healthy. But especially, I think these guys, they're certainly not deeper than they were last year. So they're gonna have to, the injury thing is going to be as important, if not more important, this year than it's been. I hate to say that to Charger fans watching this, because we all know how the injuries have been with this team for a while. So,
yeah, because I mean, you have will Michael Davis play the same way he did last year? Will J.C. Jackson be back? Like, it's just it feels like there's a lot of question marks when it comes to their secondary. Who's going to play opposite Derwin James? It's just there's a lot of question marks, I think, in the secondary alone, just because of all the injuries and everything that they've had back there, and then it's like, who's going to step up to be the other running back? Is Austin Eckler going to play? Like, there's so many question marks with this team. There's going to be a lot of question marks this summer around this team, in my opinion.
You're 100% right.
I think one of the most important things also that they failed to kind of solidify last year, who's going to be behind Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa? You can't have another year where, you have these freaking 5-star pass rushers and all of a sudden one's down and you're over here playing with one leg instead of two. So that to me is going to be the biggest thing, because you've got to essentially know your personnel and find somebody who's going to step up. And if not, you got to scheme a little bit better to get pressure, because it was rough sometimes with these when in these passing downs, because Khalil Mack could not get back there by himself with these other guys getting one-on-ones, and they couldn't get past them.
At the draft, I don't know if you heard me, Fernando, when they're about to make their 3rd round pick, I said, double down, take another edge rusher. And they drafted the linebacker who I think they're going to count heavily on special teams from him. But, the thing they drafted Thule in the 2nd round, edge rusher to be basically the 3rd edge rusher after Khalil and Joey. And something to remember about him is he's 20 years old. Okay. Yeah. He's not going to be 21 until September. So he's still going to grow some, probably. He's still a young guy. So I'm totally with this whole idea of, they don't have enough edge rushing right now. I would have a hard time anyone who wants to debate that and say that they actually do. I mean, they basically have 2 guys who they know can play there. And then they've got a rookie who's 20 years old, and they have Chris Rump, who's, a special teams player, basically. So, I'm surprised that to me, we've been saying this for a little while with this team, but it still feels real thin there. And the defensive interior line still feels a little thin to me too. So, those are 2 things that I'm surprised that we're sitting here and that's the edge rushing situation, because it's kind of like what they had last year, and we saw what happened.
Well, I even asked Tom, and I think Tom, I was like, hey, Kyle Van Noy at the end turned it on. He had 6 sacks in the last 6 games of the season. It felt like he really kind of got it together and was able to he felt comfortable. And I asked him at the end of the season, do you feel comfortable? He's like, dude, ever since that Falcons game, I felt the most comfortable I have in this defense the rest of the way, and I feel like I'm going to do some good things. Then after that, he ends up with a sack a game. So I thought maybe they bring him back in, and Tom was kind of like, well, I don't know. Like he just felt like he kind of sounded like they're comfortable with what they have, and it's kind of like, well, how could you feel comfortable with what you have? Like, you're behind Joey and Khalil, you don't have anything. 1, 2, you don't know if they're going to get injured or not. Then last year you missed Joey, and at one point Khalil, Khalil, I think, is lucky that he got 8.5 sacks last year, because at some points they were triple teaming him and leaving the other person one-on-one. So I'm with you, Jeff. I think they need to either bring in a pass rush. Leonard Floyd is still out there. Why not bring him in? Brandon Staley's had him before. He had a career year with Brandon Staley. Heck, I even thought maybe John Johnson is a guy that you look at for some safety help, but I know that they like JT Woods a lot. But JT Woods to me can't tackle, and John Johnson can. So there's some. I think right now there is a good time, like last year when they brought in Kyle Van Noy, Bryce Callahan, Morgan Fox. Like, I feel like the Chargers kind of need to do something like that right now as well, to bring in some guys that kind of fill out their roster. Because I'm with you right now, this team doesn't look as good as it could be if they brought in some veteran help.
Yeah, it's the same depth thing we've talked about. It seems like every season with this team, and that's where they're at right now. Is they just don't have depth. I don't see it. I don't see the depth that they they've added it in some places, but then there's other places like you just mentioned that I don't see it there. So I don't know. I mean, there's still time. There are some guys out there. Maybe they'll catch, have another May where they add 2 or 3 guys like they did last year. But they don't have a ton of space to do stuff. But and they don't. Their roster's pretty full right now. I think there's a couple of spots maybe, but I mean, maybe they'll do something. I don't know. It sure feels like they need to.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. So let's go now. And Jeff, I know I told you I'd give you the special surprise of Daniel getting to watch this anime thing. So let's go ahead and have him watch it, and let's see what he thinks about it.
Explain most of it to me.
I don't even watch anime.
Right there, it's a receipt of the 27-0 against Jacksonville, and it's a pain. So I'm starting it off.
So they started off with embarrassment and they step on it. Okay, that's awesome. I already reject all of this. I hate this already, and it's barely started. What is this, dude? That's not even Dragon Ball. Now
that's supposed to be Mike McDaniel with the vape. That's Derrick Henry, obviously.
Oh, look, it's Cyborg from DC,
that's Birds dying at the U.S. Bank. So that's pretty funny.
I reject it. I reject it so hard and thoroughly.
There's your quarterback on the bye week fishing. This one's crazy. So you guys remember when the Dallas Cowboys social media team threw Dak they wrote about him and said that the loss was on Dak. Like they suffered a terrible loss. And the social media team wrote an article saying it's Dak's fault that they lost.
I'm sure it was, but
rarely do you ever see a social media team say that about a quarterback. Well, look what happens when Dak turns around. It's a content team, and it's the bus running them over. So
I didn't remember that. So that one I didn't understand. Okay.
Yeah, so it happened halfway through the season. So it's basically him getting run over by the bus. This one of the Chiefs like famous mascots or one of their biggest fans.
He got arrested.
He held up a liquor store at gunpoint.
Yeah.
And
so it wasn't that he was dealing drugs. I thought it was drugs
or whatever. He was doing something like that. But he got arrested.
Who cares?
He's under house arrest. He was under house arrest, but he still ended up at Arrowhead Stadium last year. Like for one of the playoffs games, I think he was there.
He's dedicated. You can tell he's dedicated.
So obviously, the Bears Build-A-Bear. Oh, so get this one.
This is so
Jeff, look over here what it says. It says single Cougars in your area.
Yeah, I did see that one.
You see the I Heart New Jersey? That's hilarious.
Yes, I did.
You see the Bing Bong? Bing Bong is a shout out to the Sopranos, dude.
And then Pizza Rat strikes again.
I don't know what's a Pizza Rat. They have
like that rats are like obviously there's rats in the city and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then right here it says Rex Damn Snack Bar. Right here, down here by where Aaron Rodgers is.
That's a real throwback over here, dude.
And so they have the New York Sack Exchange. Mark Sanchez got sacked 99 times. Glecko 73, Loins 93. So it's just like they got pretty.
Imagine, Jeff, how many hours of the day they spent doing this crap?
Oh, I can't. Yeah, I can't even imagine how long.
With the detail.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
They have some chicks working over there. What the hell is that?
And that's Mina Kimes. That's Skip Bayless. So this was Skip Bayless and I think Steven. Shannon. Yeah, Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, which was the sweater.
And then right here, they're announcing the Detroit Lions game, but they're doing it by saying, "Do you have a gambling problem? Call 1-800 because of the 4 players that got suspended from the Detroit Lions for gambling."
Yeah, it was for basketball or something, right? Or
I don't know, but it was still funny. Like that was pretty aggressive. And then
now we got a pyro.
Oh, the Packers. Oh, your boy, the Cheesehead. Your boy, what's their head coach? Then the Ravens.
No, that's not my boy. That's not my boy.
There's a contract. Then this one's hilarious. Jeff, look at this. It's Bill Belichick spying on all the games.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a go right there. They should pay. Wow. Now freaking Patrick Starr.
Joey Bosa. Then look at this. So, Jeff, if you click on this link right here, on this thing right here.
What is that? I heard people talk.
Okay, so if you look at your phone and you click on it, it'll take you to a page that says Charger fan, Raider fan. If you go the Charger fan route, it sends you to the tickets or whatever, or somewhere like that. If you go the Raider route, it sends you to Google and it says how to find a real job.
Oh,
so yeah.
Oh my God.
And then obviously so these are the 4 Super Bowls of the Bills that they lost, and it says burn it all.
Can you imagine having such
there's
bad luck?
Diggs right there.
Yeah, watching. Could you imagine having that bad luck that you go to 4 and
Sean
lose?
Payton.
Yeah, that's probably Russell Wilson's office, dude, that he was busting up. Oh, this guy again.
That's Pat McAfee and AJ Hawk.
Yeah, you could tell that one.
What was that? What was that thing before they showed those two guys?
It was the
mascot of that guy is on the run. The guy, mascot from the fan from the Chiefs.
So this is like you got to really follow along close.
Yeah.
From previous,
you have to completely be able to break it down. That's Derwin James.
Shout out, go.
And there's a schedule, but then it cuts out to the legends of the Chargers.
Go back to where they showed Asante and Michael Davis. Who was that other guy?
Oh, I think that was J.C. Jackson.
Oh, so they're thinking he's going to play.
J.C. Jackson.
All right.
So they're thinking he's going to play.
I was going to say, if that's not J.C. Jackson, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, you're right. So there's the schedule. So that was the whole breakdown.
So what do you think,
Jeff?
Dan, what do you got?
Old fashioned. Can we just get back to playing football? Can I just get an email or a post on their social media that gives me the damn schedule? All this stupid, if I wanted to watch cartoons, I would rot my brain watching SpongeBob or something else. I don't want to watch this anime crap. I just want to know who they're playing and when, so I can know how much alcohol I'm gonna have to drink this season just to keep up and keep watching week after week. But I don't know if Fernando ever told you about this, Jeff. Like me personally, I hate the whole draft. I hate the draft process. I think it's idiotic. I'm with you when it comes to the depth and everything else, because it's like, how are you going to put so much weight on your rookies? Like that could stunt their growth to begin with. Anyway, but I just hate the way the NFL has turned into some sideshow where now it's like, let's do cartoons here and let's do this social media challenge there and this and that. It's like, dude, this is not what the game is. Like, let's line up, snap the ball, and go kill somebody, for God's sake. Let's get back to it. I hate it. It's getting so soft everywhere. I can't stand it.
Yeah, it's become it's just the kind of part that drives me crazy. You're talking about it. It's just the hype, the endless hype and everything. It's almost like professional wrestling in that respect. It's just become like
careful, you're gonna hurt Fernando's feelings.
Everybody's just trying to hype up everything now. So it's just kind of
so dumb. Jeff, they don't even wear suits to the draft anymore. What are we doing? Some of these guys were half naked under there. What are we doing?
Jeff, in your article in the LA Times, did you give a prediction for the season already or no?
I did not. Thankfully we don't do that.
Okay.
So I did not actually have to do that.
Yeah, that would have been way too soon. But definitely, Quentin Johnston signed his, according to Tom Pelissero, signed his contract already, his rookie deal. So there's one done according to him. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that. Yeah, I don't. I'm not quite 100% sure why that's a big deal for a lot of people, but I mean, that's not like I'm pretty sure when he was going to play. So
yeah, I think I saw
there's a ton of wiggle room on those deals. It's like
they were so somebody was so excited because I think somebody already got their draft class already done. I think it was the Eagles or somebody, and they were like, "Oh my god, they already got their," some reporter tweeted out, "They already got all their guys done," and I'm like, "Isn't that what they're supposed to do?"
Yeah, they can participate and stuff and not have signed their contract yet. So I think some people are confused about that.
They have to get it done before when the veterans come in and they mix up the veterans with the young players.
I mean, they're gonna, remember when Rashawn took forever to sign.
Yeah,
but they're all gonna sign. But yeah, it's I mean, you'd rather have them sign than not. But it's they're all signed. It's just it really just comes down to the agents trying to get everything and get the way they, as I understand it, the way the timing of when they get paid is really what it comes down to. A lot of times, it's not even. I mean, the money's what it's slotted to be. It's just sometimes how it's paid out.
Jeff, I can't remember. Was it Derwin the one that Anthony had to tell to slow down during minicamp?
Yeah. It was.
There was a play. I think we were allowed to watch, and I think it was a backup tight end. I think Derwin just the backup tight end caught it, and Derwin kind of just put his shoulder into it, and he kind of leaned there, do I catch him? And the guy just falls completely down, and Derwin's like he just lifts up his arms like that, and you were just like, oh wow, this guy really he's gonna be a tree trunk out there because I remember Anthony told us, I had to tell him he needed to slow down.
The guy to watch, Dayon Henley, the linebacker, is the guy to watch this year.
Oh yeah,
he's the guy who might do something that he needs to be told to slow down.
No, 100%.
He's going to show up on to make an impression right away for sure.
Yeah,
and so he might be the guy that does that this season.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Before Jeff, we let you go. When is it? It's a Thursday night. It may be tough to get Dan and Daygo out, or Dan out in out to Las Vegas for that Thursday night game. But I think I think we're gonna try our hardest to try and get him out there.
I don't know. Now, why do you say that? Because I have a counter to that argument. Perhaps why do you think that would be tough?
No, literally, Jeff.
They're in finals. Week.
When is it?
December 14th.
Oh, December 14th. Yeah. Look, he's ready to go. Because I was laughing last year when I can't remember what I put that you're like, you should be in Las Vegas.
Well, so when that came out and I saw that, it's a Thursday night. So I thought, okay, that makes Wednesday night a possibility, or it makes staying and Friday night a possibility. And I'm thinking it's football season, high school football season's over. So I thought, there's going to be no excuse. Like he can go to this game, right?
You know what? I think they're done that Thursday. So maybe you and I stay that Thursday out there, and then Dan flies in Friday morning, and we hang out Friday.
I'm saying I could very easily see staying after that game.
Yeah, I mean they have a week. They have 10 days before. They have 4 days before they go back to practice anyway. So I mean, we could stay out there.
We'll get Staley on the Zoom on Friday and be good to go.
Yeah,
I will.
Look at Jeff. Jeff is a problem solver.
He is. He already knows when my high school football is done and everything else. I was gonna say this though. Obviously, I will make the effort. At least I will let you know as we get closer. But I hope you know that you're my favorite Vegas story that I tell people. You know, people ask me all the time, have you been to Vegas? Da, 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 da. I'm like, yeah, I went to Vegas. They're like, oh, did you gamble? I'm like, no, I'm not an idiot. You know what I did? I played my favorite game with one of the most interesting men I've ever met, Sir Jeffrey Miller. Just at the bar, what we do, we hand the bartender some money or a card, and we're just drinking and talking the whole time, dude.
It was beautiful. It was
glorious.
I loved every second of it.
It was glorious, dude. I had a blast. I tell people all the time, that's one of my favorite Vegas stories. We literally sat there probably for like 3 or 4 hours while they all went to go play roulette or whatever. We had no idea time had even passed.
It was just a beautiful thing. It was one of those things that just happens. Just you don't know it's coming. It just happens.
Exactly. Like I will never forget, ingrained in my mind, your OJ story. I love that one, dude. That was the juice. That was my favorite.
Well, we appreciate Jeff for jumping on with us. Obviously, go check out all of his stuff at the LA Times. We already know that Jeff does a great job, so make sure you guys check it out. And we appreciate you guys so much for joining us on another episode of What's Up, Bolts.
Frown, do it right. Do it right, Frown, before we get out of here. Do it right.
What's up, Bolts? So obviously, thank you guys for checking out yet another episode. Make sure you guys check out everything else on the COMPAS on the Beat network. We got COMPAS on the Beat. We have House of Horns. We have COMPAS FC. We got it all. So make sure you guys are checking Combat COMPAS. So make sure you guys are checking it all out. We appreciate you guys so much. Have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Thank you guys. Without you, there is no Jeff, there is no Dan, and there is no Fernando. So we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys. and have a great weekend. Thank you guys.